In this video, I'm going to be talking about all of the boots I recommend to adult beginner skaters who are looking to get their first pair of real figure skates. I'm going to be talking about all of the beginner boots from all major brands, including a couple of blades at the end and all of the other important things you'll need to know about when you're buying boots, and some extra things you'll need to get once you get your boots. Okay, this slide is kind of for you. It's just 3 things I like people to keep in mind when they're going to get their first pair of skates. The first thing I like people to keep in mind is you should have a number or a range of how much you want to spend. Beginner boots can range from $150 to $400, so you really want to know how much you're willing to spend or how much you want to spend, or just the number you don't want to go over. For example, my first pair of skates, which are in this slideshow, were Jackson Freestyles, and they were $470 plus shipping. Now, moving on to my second tip, I recommend not buying them online. I bought my first pair of skates online. They did not fit. It was a terrible experience talking to the skate tech. She did not answer any of my calls, any of my emails about them not fitting, and all this other stuff. So my second tip is to go in person. I would have saved myself so much money and so much time if I did. But my skate shop is 3 hours away from me, which is understandable if you can't do that. In this slideshow, I'm going to try to give you your best foot forward into ordering skates if you have to order them online. But if you can, go in person, do the drive, get fitted. Each brand of skate is going to fit differently. Some brands have a tight heel and a wide toe box. Other brands have a small, narrow toe box and a small, narrow heel. Sometimes it's the opposite. You don't know which brand fits what because it's not advertised that way. Even like I skate in a couple different brands and I still don't even really know. But that's why it's important to go get fitted. No one knows if they have a narrow heel or not. Literally no other shoe in the world matters if you have a narrow heel. So go in person if you can. The third thing I recommend is that when you go and buy your first pair of skates, go ahead and just buy yourself some hard guards and some soakers. I'm an instructor for Learn to Skate, and the amount of people that I see who get these brand new skates, they're gorgeous, they're lovely, and they're still using the white plastic as their guards to walk around in. Those are not guards. Those just protect the blades while they're shipping. Don't use those. They are not going to stay on. They have a film on them, like an oily coating, that I don't think it's bad for your blades, but you don't need them. If you're already spending $100 on skates, spend the extra $30-$40 on some soakers and guards to protect your blades. Because if you're spending that much on boots and blades, and then you're not protecting them, you're kind of just throwing that money away. Okay, this is examples of hard guards and soakers, since I understand everybody knows what those are. So we have on the left side e-guards. These are going to be $60-ish, $55-$60. They come in a wide range of colors, and they are from the brand Adeas. Very popular. I use these. I really like them. They're rubbery. They kind of stretch over your blade. They're great. They're solid. Mine have lasted me over 2 years, so it's definitely like you really only have to buy them once, maybe twice in your career. It's super easy. The other brand is Rockers. This is another really, really popular brand. Again, another brand where like tons of colors, will last you forever. These ones are hard plastic though. They're not going to be rubbery. And you do have to put them together. Meaning they have a spring in them and you have to like screw in the spring to get them to fit. Or to put them together, not fit. On the right side of the screen, I have 2 examples of soakers. Now, I just got these pictures off of Etsy, but this is kind of what your soakers are going to look like. They're going to be like a towel material on the inside. They're going to be really big. They're going to be really fluffy. These are what you're going to be putting on your blades when they're in your bag. So as soon as you get off the ice, you wipe your blades off, you throw your hard guards on to walk to the chair, you take your hard guards off, you wipe off your blades, and then you put your soakers on, and your soakers stay on until the next time you skate. This is what gets all of the condensation off your blade so they don't rust. Very important, because your blades will rust overnight. Stiffness. What is stiffness, and why is that important? What does that mean? Now, if you were like me, you probably did a different sport, like soccer or softball, where stiffness for shoes were not a thing, so you didn't have to worry about that. You just went, you got the colors you needed for your team, and then you were done. But stiffness is very important for figure skates, so I'm going to go ahead and explain that and the numbers. Okay, so say you have zero idea. You're like, oh my god, I don't know. I don't know if I skate a lot. I don't know if I skate too little. I don't have a coach. I'm only learning to skate. There is a kind of a math way to figure it out. I did a lot of research on this because I was trying to prove a point online, so I found this. But anyway, you're going to find your weight in pounds. You're going to times it by 5, 6, 7, or 8. For us, it's going to be probably like 5 and under. And then you're going to divide that by either 2, 2.5, or 3. If you are a size 8 or around a size 8 in women's shoes, do 2.5. This number that you get is going to be your kind of stiffness range. So say you got a number that's like around 300, your stiffness is going to be 55 to 65. If you got under 300, you're going to be like 50, 55, 45, 50. If you got around 340, you're going to be 65 to 75. If you got above that, you may be hitting more of the 90 or 80, 90s. But like I said, this is just a rule of thumb that you can use if you really have no idea. The best person to ask is your skate tech. If you have a coach, your coach. They're going to understand how much you're skating, the skill levels are at, and what boot they recommend. Okay, this is the last slide that I have for information. We have our widths. So our A, B, C, D, and E. C is standard, D is wide, and E is extra wide. A is narrow, B is like slightly less narrow, but pretty narrow. To be honest, I have literally never seen somebody in a width of A. Like I don't know who they are. I don't know where they are, but they're not at my rink. So FYI. But so this is why it's really important to get fitted, because you may think your standard width, which is C, so you may assume you're a C, but really you're like an A. Maybe not, but maybe you're like an E or a B, and you're like, oh man, I got too wide of a boot. You know, like me, I got too narrow of a boot. I had to get a wider boot, which sucks because figure skates aren't really returnable because of how customized they are. So another reason why it's so important to get fitted for them. But normally some brands will have that where they have like a chart where if you measure your foot, you can kind of reference their chart. Not all of the brands do though, so just keep that in mind. Okay, our first brand is Jackson Ultima. These are an American brand, and they are a staple in the figure skating community. Okay, these are the two pairs of boots that I recommend from Jackson Ultima. I've heard only good things about these boots, so that's why I recommend them. So let's get into it. On the left side, I have the Jackson L's. They are $430, and they have a stiffness of 30-35, and they come with the Mirage blade. On the right side, I have the Jackson Freestyles. They are $470. They have a stiffness of 40-45, and they come with the Aspire XP blade. They both look very similar. So they both will come with the Swarovski crystal inlaid back strap. So very pretty, very sparkly. You can definitely see them on the ice. And they both come with blades, which is really, really great because a lot of other brands will not come with blades. So this is one where you get both. Because as a first time you're buying boots, sometimes people don't really want to buy the blades with them because that's two things you now have to do research for. This is super easy. They come together. You will have to get your blades sharpened. The factory sharpen is not good, so don't skate on them as soon as you get them. Get them sharpened, and then you can skate on them. I also have some pros and cons. So starting with the pros, they both have Swarovski crystals, which are very nice. They both come with blades. Like I said, a lot of other brands will not. They have many widths, so you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to find a boot that will fit you really nicely because they do fit a wider range of feet. They are also heat moldable. Now, if you don't know what heat molding is for boots, you can use it with hockey skates as well. But this is when you take your boots, you put them in a skate oven. So now your oven at home, but a skate oven. Um, you heat them up, and then when they come out, you will wear them for 15 minutes or so, and they mold to your feet. It helps break in processes. It makes them more comfortable. It's really nice. Now, the issue with Jacksons is that they are like fully leather on the outside, so heat molding them is not like you have to do just do it. It will it'll help substantially. Because one of the cons I have is that they are very painful to break in, and they are. I literally would cry on the ice because I would be in so much pain. Also because they were not the right size or anything, but whatever. If you get them the right size, they probably shouldn't hurt that much, but definitely get them heat molded. It makes the difference. The other thing that I have for cons is that they tend to have a really high heel. For whatever reason, I feel like all the other brands that I've worn has not had as high of a heel as Jackson's do. I don't think they're the highest, but they're definitely high. So that's one thing you're gonna get used to, especially if you're coming from like my very first pair that I ever bought was from Dick's Sporting Goods. So if you're coming from those to these, you're gonna feel the difference. The last thing I have as a con is the Aspire blade. So if you get the Jackson Freestyles and you get the Aspire XP blade, they're very difficult to spin in. I personally I think I couldn't even do a 2-foot spin in them. It was just impossible to get onto the rocker. So I ended up switching them out for a different blade, and it just fixed all of my issues. So, and which is very common. I have read a lot of reviews and on Reddit and a couple of TikTok videos, lots of people are complaining about the Aspire blade. So I think it's just one of those things. It's just a little hard to spin, and that's all. Okay, so Jackson, they do have other boot options. These ones just don't come with blades. So if you were like, those two look really ugly, I don't like them, I want something else, these are 3 other ones I would personally recommend that just don't have blades. So the first one is the Flex 2000. It is a stiffness of 3530. They are $400, and they look essentially identical to the other two. They just don't have blades. So they have the Swarovski inlay. They have that kind of thick strap in the middle that tells them what boot they are. They have the brown heel, so everything is pretty similar. The other boot that I have is the Entree. I don't know how to say it. The Entree 2340. They are a 4035, so right in the middle. Again, they look essentially identical, except the back strap is a little bit different. Again, with the Swarovski crystals, and the front band is different. Brown boots. They have the gold Jackson metal piece that is screwed in there. They are $430 to $470. I saw a range from a lot of different brand websites that sell them. I think my skate shop personally sells them for $450. So there's a bit of a range on those, but again, very pretty. I love this back strap when it comes up. So pretty. The last pair that I recommend is the Debut Low Cuts. These are so gorgeous. When I tell you, I think they're one of the most beautiful Jackson skates. They're so beautiful. These are low cut. So personally, I have these in person at my skate shop. In the picture they don't look low cut, but in person they are very low cut. They have the black heel, and I believe the heel is a tad bit shorter. At least in person they look shorter. And I believe that's because these are for dance. So if you're someone who doesn't want to jump ever, this could be an option for you. Either way, I think they're gorgeous. They have a stiffness of 45. Personally, they don't feel like a stiffness of 45. They feel more like 35 to 40. Just keep that in mind. I again found these at a range. At my skate shop, we sell them for $300. Online, I saw them as cheap as $230. I did see them as expensive as $450 though. So again, these boots do not come with blades, so you will have to buy your own blades. But I do, at the very end of this video, have 2 recommendations of blades that have really, really good reviews and everybody loves. So if you do decide to go with one of these, you can just wait to the end and I will give you my blade recommendations. Your future in Jacksons. Okay, so say you get your first pair of Jacksons, you're like, oh my god, these are amazing. I never want to change ever again. I will never wear another brand. This is what you get to look forward to. So, their highest stiffness is an 85, which is actually pretty low. I think a lot of people complain about how they don't have anything 90, 95, 100 for Jackson. Personally, I believe it. I skate in 90, so like I couldn't really skate because they're not stiff enough, but it's what it is. We have the Synergy Torch, which I think are very, very pretty. They're $1,030, which is pretty standard. Pretty much everywhere I saw sold them for that amount. And they have the same thing for the men's, which do go up to 95. So if you're someone who's like, I like black skates more than white, you can absolutely do black. You can do black in any of these skates, by the way. All skates will come in black and white. But just for an example, which are the men's, the black ones are men's, they do go up higher. They go to a 95. And they're the same price. With all of the brands, I tried my hardest to find an Olympian or someone who was at an Olympic level of skating who wore the brand. Because you're going to see a lot online. People will argue about like what brands are the best, which ones are terrible and only for beginners, which ones are only for experts, and yada yada. But I tried to kind of ignore that because Olympians wear literally all different kinds of brands. You're never going to see one brand ever. They're all in different brands. So for Jackson, I put sorry, I am getting over a cold at the moment, so if I sound a little rough, that's why. For Jackson, I put Amber Glenn. Sorry, her name was not there. And I tried to find good pictures of everybody in the boots. I couldn't find a ton of decent ones, but Jackson on their website has these cool posters of their champions. So this is Amber Glenn. I'm not sure which boot she wears. A lot of Olympians will get them custom, so I'm pretty sure she's wearing a custom boot. But yes, Miss Amber Glenn, who jumps triple axels, is in Jackson's at the date of this recording. Anyway. Okay, the second brand, we have Adea. They are an Italian brand. They are made out of polyester and techno microfibers. And these skates are drama. Alright, these are the 3 boots I personally recommend. I put 3 here, but really I'm going to lean towards the very last one, the Overture. But I will explain the first 2 and then explain why I really recommend the one. But we'll start with the first one. So the first boot is the Adea Wave. They have a stiffness of 40 and they are $250. Now, these do not come with blades, so you will have to buy blades for these. The reason why I don't kind of recommend the Wave, but I do, is because most adult skaters hate the Wave, but a lot of younger skaters really like them. So I did want to just put them out there, just be like, hey, there is a boot that is rated 40. It's very pretty. You may not like it. Again, this should be a boot you go and try on and you talk to your coach and you talk to your skate tech about. But yeah, very 50-50 on these. The other skate I kind of recommend is a Motivo. They're rated a 45 and they are $250 as well. Again, no blades, but that is fine. The reason why I kind of recommend these is because I haven't heard anything bad about them, but I also have not heard anything good either. So it's definitely one you want to go in person to try on, feel out. So yeah. Now the last boot, the Overture, and they are 55 stiffness and they are $400. I've only ever heard good things about these. People will jump all the way up to an axle in them. I have seen people jump into doubles. They're honestly really gorgeous. People love them. People swear by them. This is a lot of adult skaters' first pair of boots. So these ones I definitely recommend, but just so you know, there are 2 other boots that are pretty good as well. So the pros for Adea. Super easy to break in. They feel like sneakers. They're lightweight. They do have Swarovski crystals as you go further up in the stiffnesses, and they are heat moldable. If anybody tells you they're not telling you the truth. They're lying. They don't know what they're talking about. These are super, super heat moldable. They're so heat moldable that you're supposed to cool them off before you put them back in your skate bag, because the heat from your feet will heat mold them. So if you put stuff on top of them, they're going to get smushed and they're going to heat mold to the smushness. That is how heat moldable they are. That can also probably be a con. The cons that I have for these, they are narrow. They fit pretty narrow. See, in if you are a C or a D, I'm a D with, they're always on back order. Like, I just ordered a pair of boots. They're going to be here in 4 months. I am so upset. But it is what it is. We gotta do what we gotta do. They do not come with blades, which is fine. I think a day does have a blade, but I honestly wouldn't trust it. And once I did see that they had a manufacturing issue. Essentially, the heel was not put onto the rest of the boot correctly. So if you do order them, definitely check for that, or you can just go in person and try them on. But yes, these are the 3 I recommend. Okay, your future in Adea. So say you stay with Adea the entire time, like me. The 2 boots that you will most likely end up in is either Icefly or Piano. The reason I put both of these on here is because there is a girl at my rink who does triples. She wears Iceflies. But there is one of the Cornell girlies that I skate with. She does doubles, and she wears pianos. So, really 50-50 which one you want to stay with. Some people find one more comfortable than the other one. Some of them think one lasts better than the other one. Just a preference. But we'll start with Icefly. This is what I wear. I love them. They are a 90 stiffness. They are $965. They do have the Swarovski crystals. I think they're very pretty. They're very lightweight. Love them. They feel like sneakers. They're great. The pianos are a 95 stiffness, and they are $1,100. They also have Swarovski crystals. I think Iceflies are like the lightweight version of chorus, but that's just me. Some people say they're the lightweight version of piano. But yeah, Iceflies are technically, I think they said they're 30% lighter than their standard boots. So yeah, but yeah, they're pretty similar to me. For the Olympian that wears them, we have Alexandra Trusova. She wears pianos and she jumps quads pretty regularly. Now, the reason why I say these skates are drama is because a lot of adult skaters like Iceflies. Iceflies are great. Like I said, they feel like sneakers. They are pretty supportive, but they have a really nice break-in process. They also last a really long time when you're not doing quads. People who say Iceflies and pianos are only for people doing quads do not understand that although these boots can withstand quads, they don't survive long. So Alexandra Trusova, I believe, in an article that I read, it says that she switches out her boots 4 times a season. So although they can withstand her quads, or they can stabilize her ankle to do quads, they don't last. And I'm not someone who wants to pay $1,000 every single year, or 4 times a year. So if I'm doing singles and my Iceflies are lasting me 2 years, I'm gonna stick with that, because at least I get 2 years for $1,000 skates, whereas other skates may only last me a month or 2. So let's keep that in mind. Stiffness does not mean longevity. Okay, our third brand is Rae.Skates. They are very new, so new that the first time I heard of them was last year. So, and they have taken the world by storm, for sure. Now, this brand only has 3 skates on the market as of recording this. They all also come in black as well. But since they only have so many skates, I decided to just kind of show you the lowest level one and kind of explain these skates, because they're a little bit different than other ones. So these are the Sky 50s. They have a stiffness of 55, and they are $500, which I think is the most expensive so far on this slideshow. These boots are made of completely carbon fiber. So you can see on the heel, it's carbon fiber. They have a carbon fiber shell, which I will try to explain the best I can. They do have videos on their website if you need a visual representation, but I will, again, try my best to explain it. But anyway, They have a lower sidewall height, which allows for more flexibility. I did see these in person, and I did like pick them up and like move them and stuff. I don't think it's lower. I think it's either higher or pretty standard. So, you know. They say the heel absorbs impact and sound. I did see a video on their website kind of explaining how it absorbs sound and the impact, but a lot of skates say they absorb impact through the heel, and they really don't. So, personally, I'm iffy on that, but that's what they say. They are thicker and softer tongues, which allow adaptability for lower level skaters. Again, I don't know. I haven't worn these personally, but every person who wears them loves them. So I personally would believe that the tongue is way more shock absorbent than the heel, way more fluffier, more softer, cushioner, all that sort of stuff. And then yes, the carbon fiber one piece shell. So you can't see my mouse, but I'm going to try to explain. So at the very, very end, where the laces are, where the toes, if you go down to the foot, and you go all the way up to right halfway through the heel, then you go up halfway through the ankle, and then you come forward. That is one part of it, and then there's kind of like a hinge that goes up the ankle part, and they kind of like bend like a claw into each other. You can't see my hand, but I'm like making a claw motion. That's how these work. So they are very similar to how the Jackson Ultima skates work, where they kind of where you bend forward more than you bend side to side. Like I said, everybody who wears them loves them. They technically have the lowest heel height on the market. Again, they explain it in their video, but technically your heel sits halfway through the heel. So like right above the word aura on the heel, that's technically where you're sitting, not at the very top. The other thing about these is a lot of people who jump multiples have been wearing them lately. So there's a girl on TikTok specifically who did a video on them. She switched from ice flies to these. She loves them. A few Olympians wear them. Lots and lots of people who are in the World Championships have been wearing them. I think they're definitely taking over. So these are definitely a good option to go with. Okay, so say you decide to stay with Aura. You really, really like them. And you want to go all the way up. So the only other two that they have at the moment is the Sky 100s. They have a stiffness of 65, and they are $700. And then they have the Sky 200s, which are 65 to 95 stiffness. I have not seen the stiffness level for this boot yet, but like I said, people who jump triples will wear this boot, so I'm assuming it's very high up there. And they are $880. I think these boots are ugly, but I mean, hey, if they get you up there, they get nice height, then I'll take it. You know? The other thing, now at the time when I made this slideshow, Ilya Malinin was not wearing these boots. As of now, he is. He is wearing these. So you're going to see later on the slideshow, I have a picture of him in a different pair of boots because he used to wear another pair, but he just switched to these. So an Olympian, or soon to be an Olympian, does wear these boots. So they're very solid. Okay, this is our fourth brand. This is Golden Horse. I believe they are stationed in the Philippines, and they usually make inline or quad skates, but they have recently been making figure skates. So I wanted to involve them. They're a little underground, but they're very pretty. So let's get into them. The singular skate I recommend is called the Magic Skates. They have a stiffness of 68 to 70. The reason why I only really recommend this one is because this is the lowest they go. So if you're someone who is like doing jumps already and like your boots have fallen apart, you're like, I need a boot that's going to last me up into an axle. I believe these are rated to axles. People do, like I said, they're built for quads, so they're going to be a little bit stiffer than figure skates because quads are heavier than blades. But either way, they're very nice. They are $319 with the Stellar blades, or you can get them without blades, and that is $279. These boots are really, really cool. They are fully customizable. to the point that you can get the design and the diamonds off. If you want bright yellow with neon pink laces, you can do that. They have 13 colors to choose from. They also have like 7 or 8 colors to choose from for laces. So if you want colorful, this is the brand to go with. Um, I only have a few cons. They are the biggest one is that the lowest stiffness they go to is a 70. So if you're someone who's learned to skate, these probably aren't going to be the boots you want to buy. I mean, you can absolutely, but 70s might be a little tough. I have heard from people online that they do have a rough break-in process, so they're just going to be really stiff, which makes sense. They're a 70. And from what I could find, they are not heat moldable, so you cannot bake these. So when you get them, you just gotta break them in. Now, that being said, these boots are 100% customizable, also meaning your size. So when you order them, you don't pick a size. They will email you later on. They will give you instructions on how to film a video of your feet. You upload that video of your feet, and then they make the boots to your feet. So they should come really nicely to the size of your foot. So there shouldn't be too much of an issue with that. So, very cool. I think these are neat. And very gorgeous, if I haven't said that. These are beautiful skates. Okay, so say you do get them. You love them. You're like, I need to go higher. The stiffest boot that they have are the Maestros. They are a 98 to 100 stiffness, so rated pretty high up there. They are $749, and they are just, I mean, look at them. What is that? What is that one? Uh, God, no. Apollo, no. Achilles. There he is. The dude with the feathers on his heel. Like that's not what that looks like. Like that's what these boots look like to me. They are beautiful, gorgeous, sparkly, absolutely lovely. These ones are also very customizable as well. Same with the size and everything. They just come with a few less colors. So I think it's only 6 colors, 7, 5, and then only 3 colors for the laces, I believe. The skates that are right below this have like a little bird on them. It's so nice. But anyway, these are the Golden Horse skates. As of right now, no one wears them. Like I said, they're very underground, but they're beautiful. So I definitely would give them a chance if you are kind of feeling their vibe. All right, these are Vidals. These are also very, very popular, very old school, very much a staple in the figure skating community. My coach wears them. Another coach who I did a show with wears them. Lots of people wear them. They're everywhere. Okay, for this brand, I actually recommend 4 skates, and that's for a specific reason. But anyway, so they offer something called the Crystal Collection. This is a series of 3 skates that are 30, 40 to 50 stiffness. So you can kind of just go right down the line. They're very pretty. They're made, I believe, with adult skaters in mind. So, which is really cool. Going on the website, they have a description of all the boots, what they're good for. And I believe these ones are the ones that specifically say adult skaters, like a beginner adult skaters. So, starting on the left, we have the Rubies. They are stiffness of 30, and they are $150, and they do come with blades, which is super cool. I think the cheapest so far. The rubies are on the laces up near the toes. You can kind of see it in the topaz and the crystal ones, but so rubies will be red. The next ones is topaz. They are stiffness of 40, and they are $199, and they also come with blades. The last ones in the series are the crystals. They have stiffness of 50, and they are $250. These all have a silver heel, which is super cute, and they all have the gems in the front. Okay, so you might be seeing this other boot over here in the corner. And I wanted to put that boot in here just because I know some people want a more sophisticated look with their boots. So, say you're looking at these crystals and you're like, wow, these look not great. These don't look like the typical figure skater skate that I like. I don't like the silver heel. I don't like the crystals. I want something else. Well, Rydell's do have other skates. One of the pros I have for them is that they have lots of boot designs for the same stiffness. So if you don't like how one looks, you can always look for another one. So for this one, I put the Stride 223s. They have a stiffness of 50 and they are $369 and they do not come with blades. The other thing you have to remember with Rydell's is that they have a wooden heel, so you have to get them waxed. So they put a hot wax stick and they put it over it and they like paint the wax on, and so they don't rot because of the water. So if you order them online and they look like they are not waxed, you have to go and get them waxed or they are going to rot. Remember that. Very important. Now, the other pros I have for them is that they're classic. They're well trusted. Like I said, my coach wears them. Other coaches in my club wear them. They are beautiful. I feel like they last a very long time. They are leather, so they are going to have a rough breaking process. That's my one con. My one and only con. Ice dancers love them. I believe they have also a very low heel, and a lot of them come with blades, so you don't have to worry getting a blade as well. Okay, so say you get Rydell's, you stay with them your whole career, and you're like, oh my goodness, what do I have to look forward to? You have the Arias 3030s. They have a stiffness of 100 and they are $849. I think these are some of the most prettiest skates, to be honest. And we have the Canadian Ice Dancers, Giles and Poirier. Sorry, I can't read those names very well, but yes, they wear them. I believe they are Olympic levels, so Olympians do wear these. And like I said, they're very well trusted. People love them, so you definitely can't go wrong with these. Our next brand is Resport, Sport, one of them. As you can see, there's pictures of Ilya Melin. He used to wear these. He doesn't anymore, so ignore him. Thank you. Okay, my two boots that I recommend. Now, I would like to say people at my rink do wear these, so these are the boots that I saw that they wear that have lasted them a really long time, and they jump in them, and they are somewhat of a beginner. So, starting on the left, we have the uh and Therese and Therese. I don't know, guys. They have a stiffness of 35, and they are $200. They have a plastic heel, but I think they're more. I think they're like the Adea plastic heel, so they're a lot more sturdier than just like the cheap plastic ones. No crystals, no sparklies, but it's whatever. Um, and the R's, so for the brand, they have little wings on them, and they're pretty solid on the heel, which I think is so neat. They look so cool. Um, like I said, I do see people at my rink wearing this specific brand, and they're jumping up to Lutzes in them. So I think you'll get a lot of use out of these. And the other brand is the Electras. They are 45 stiffness and they are $330. Again, I have seen people in these ones. They are jumping, or they did land their axle in these. So these are really solid boots. This one does have slight crystally designies on the back, so that's cool. The only things I put on these, because I wasn't finding a whole lot of like pros and cons, like bad things, good things, just a few things that people have just been kind of saying about them. One, they don't come with blades, so you'll have to get your own blade. And a lot of people have been saying that their quality has been declining a lot. So I will keep it in mind. I guess they used to be better than what they are now. That is why a lot of people think Ilya Melanin switched, but I don't know. I am not him. I cannot say. I don't wear these. But just and they have a narrow fit, very narrow. I've heard that these are just one of the narrowest boots. So definitely try these on before you get them. Okay, so say you like them, you stay with them the whole rest of your career. The boots you have to look forward to are the Royal Primes. They are a 90 stiffness and they are $750. I saw these in person. The girl who landed her axle wears these. They are gorgeous. They're beautiful skates. And it looks on the picture like the heel is average, or no, sorry, the ankle height is average, but they're actually a little bit lower. When I wear my ice flies next to hers, like you can see that my ice flies actually are higher up. The ankle's higher up than hers, so they're a little bit lower. I think they're beautiful. Like I said, Ilya Melina used to wear them as well, so they're pretty solid boots. I don't think you can go wrong with these. Um, so yeah, I think they're pretty good. All right, our second to last boot I have are the Graphs. This is also a hockey brand, so if this is familiar to you, if you have friends who play hockey and they're like, "Oh, I like Graph," this is that's this brand. That's them. They also not do figure skates, or they have been for a while actually. All right, the three boots I recommend. I'm going to be honest, I haven't heard a ton about them. No one that I know wears them, but I do see people who do wear them, and they tend to last them a really long time. So these are the three that are in the stiffness range. So we have the Ace. They are 35 stiffness, and they are $350. They do come with blades. The Ruby Victories, which are a 35 stiffness, they are $400, and again, they do come with blades. I think they are very ugly, but that's just me. Then we have the Ruby Champion. They are 40 stiffness, they are $500, and they do not come with blades. Um, Overall, these boots are really weird to me because every single one looks so different from each other. So I just feel like they don't have a solid look to them. They're one of the biggest cons, honestly, for me, is that they have zero custom ordering. You're essentially just getting what you're getting. Um, yeah, the only thing that you can kind of help with that is that they are heat moldable. But still, I feel like for a brand that's been around as long as them, they would make their boots a little bit more customizable. But that's just fine. That's just me. Um, the other pro I have for them is that a lot of them come with blades, um, which is nice. It is a graph blade, so I can't tell you if it's good or not. Like I said, no one that I know wears them, and I could not find any negative reviews, but I also couldn't find any positive reviews, so just keep that in mind. Um, and then the width that they have is just medium and large, so they don't use the ABC. So another one where you're probably going to want to get fitted because they don't follow the standard track. But again, like I said, the people who do wear these, they wear them for a very long time, so I think these at least last a while. And they do have a lot of other kind of designs on their website if you want to check those out. Okay, so say you get Graph, you love them. Um, you say, Rae, you're crazy. I think these are gorgeous. Um, and you decide you want to get the highest level, which is a Washington. For the stiffness of 95, they are $1,275, so one of the more expensive brands on this slideshow. I think these ones look better. I think they're pretty. Like I said, I don't know people who wear them. This isn't the boot that I see people wear, so I think it's a different one they wear, or it's one that's just like not available anymore. But the people who do wear them, who were Olympic level, I think they're in still. I don't know. Is Amelia and the man that she's with. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name. Vadium. Sorry, I can't. If you know how to say it, I'm sorry. They're probably amazing skaters. They look great. I mean, honestly, I wish I could get my leg that high, but I can't. Goals, honestly. Anyway, they wear them. I believe they're dancers. Look gorgeous. Yeah, Washingtons. All right, this is our last brand. Oh my god, we've made it. Sorry if I sound even worse. I'm sick, and my cat came to visit, and now my allergies to my cat are acting up. So keep that in mind. This is the SP Terrys. These are probably the one brand that I knew about before I started skating. I just feel like this was just the brand, but it's actually not the brand. But yeah, let's get into the SP Terrys. The Pro Terry Intermediate, they are $700. Um, these guys do not go any lower than intermediate. They don't follow the number system, so you can kind of use my little number line thing that I made at the beginning as a reference for what intermediate is. But yeah, again, you're probably gonna want to go in person. You're gonna want to try them on. You're going to want to feel them, kind of see how stiff they are. Personally, I saw them in person. I don't think they're that stiff, but again, check them out. Cons are they do not come with blades, and they have nothing lower than intermediate. Pros, these are fully customizable, so you can make them to however you want. This includes, so when I say fully customizable, I mean you can have a skate tech order these online for you, and they can make the heel a different width or height. They can make the toe box bigger or smaller. They can do a lot of things. But when boots are not fully customizable, you can't do that. So you're just getting like a stock thing. So you can't adjust it to how they make it. Okay, terribly sorry for this horrible picture quality. They literally look the exact same. These are the 1X Elite Advanced skates, and they are $900. So this is what the future and SP Terry looks like. And there was a skater who wore them, Michelle Kwan. I don't know if anybody else wears them currently. I couldn't find anybody who wears them besides her. She did go to the Olympics. She is a very good skater, so SP Terrys are a solid skate. Um, the other thing is that these are traditional, so they are leather, so a breaking process will probably be a little difficult. I did not see anything about them being heat moldable, so keep that in mind. Alright, so say you went through this whole video and you were like, I found a pair of boots I love, but they don't have blades. Well, here are my two recommendations for what blade to get. Okay, so starting on the left, we have the Legacy 7s or 8s. They look the exact same. They are 30% lighter because of the cutouts. This is a Jackson Ultima blade. I love Jackson Ultima blades, they are fantastic. This is rated for above an axle, so these should get you quite far. They have an 8-inch rocker, which is great because all like elite level blades have an 8-inch rocker. So if you're starting with something that's a 7, you're going to have to now adjust to a new rocker. That makes sense. They have a cross cut pick pattern, so the very top little pointy part is cross cut, so it's going to keep you in the ice a little bit better than a straight cut would. I have straight cut right now. I hate them. It is what it is. I got mine for $270, but online they go for $300. The other blades I have are the Coronation Ace. Everybody and their mother loves these. Like everybody's in them. I don't wear them, but everyone loves them. Everyone wears them. Everybody loves uh John Wilson. So definitely a solid brand. These have a 7-inch rocker though, so you will have to eventually adjust to an 8-inch. They again also have a cross-cut pick pattern, and they are $330. So these are the two blades I recommend. You can't go wrong with either one of them. Alright, that is it. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was very informational, informal, and helped you in any sort of way with getting new skates. It is a long and rough process for some, but hopefully this made it a little bit easier. If you have questions, do not be afraid to comment below. I check my YouTube pretty often, so I can definitely get back to you, or you can message me on TikTok or Instagram. I will also message you back on there. I hope you enjoy your pair of boots. It's gonna be so great getting out of those old ones, believe me. And I hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.